It is very simple for anyone to tell us that when we live from our higher self, we're going to have a sense of purpose. We're going to have lots of confidence. And we're going to get into a great intimate relationship. We're going to want to jump out of bed every single morning feeling excited. And the list goes on more and more, right? But here's the problem. How many of these desires are actually stemming from our higher self? Stemming from our higher self. There's this book by Bronnie Ware where she interviews elderlies, asking them what they regretted the most. And one of the most common responses that she got was that these elderlies regretted not being themselves. Out of everything possible, they regretted not being themselves. They lived a life that did not project who they really were on the inside. They were scared to be themselves. And another aspect was not living up to their full potential, knowing that they could have lived a greater life, but they didn't because they held themselves back. Now I want you to ask yourself, if you continue living your life the way that you're living it right now, how would you feel about your life at the very end on your deathbed? Will you have the same regret of not being your true self? Are you going to have the same regret that you lived this life because of insecurity? Because of the pettiness of life? You didn't follow the passion that you should have followed. Take a moment to think about where it could have led you, who you could have become, how you could have impacted the world. And as you can see, I like to think about this in a really deep level. But if you just really think about these regrets, it's just so stupid, right? I mean, you are you. So how are you not fulfilling you? And the more I think about this, the more I realize how lucky of a generation we are. We have all the tools, all the money, all the resources gifted from the gods, all the AI at our disposal, all the videos. And the question is, are we going to utilize this properly? Are we going to use these resources to motivate our lives? Or are we going to be using it to fill us with bullshit that pulls us away from true happiness? Your desire to live a fulfilled life, is this just a cute idea? Or is it really true for you? How authentic and congruent are you with your values? I want to show you that the most fulfilled life is being congruent to your values. That you're doing the passionate work that you love in work, in school, in your future, or whenever. And just by being you yourself, and doing you get the most possible success and the most possible fulfillment in life. And one biggest trap I see many people falling into is that they think that other people can help you do you. But then, the problem is that only you can do you, right? Because you know yourself the best. No matter how much information and systems you learn from other people, ultimately, it's down to you to decide whether that gives you satisfaction or fulfillment. Right? Other people can only show you as much as they can. And on this path, I want you to live a meaningful life. A life where you can freely express everything that you feel like that's deeply buried inside. I want you to be passionate. I want you to die proud. Die proud without any regrets on your deathbed. Just like the elderlies that we interviewed. It's such a funny thing because everyone around you, they're doing the opposite thing. And it seems like such a great thing to achieve, right? And then you're wondering, like, well, Bosco, why doesn't everyone do this? And the answer is really simple. It's because it just takes a little bit more to get this done. And most people don't put the effort in because they're stuck in the cycle of petty diet, petty friendships, petty relationships, petty work, petty lifestyle. And you know what this leads to? A petty life. One that is not meaningful. And I'm really speaking this from first-person experience because I've also been like them. I've been hooked into all of these stupid stuff before I started this journey. I watch adult sites that I'm not supposed to go on. I scrolled Instagram for hours. I ate every single piece of food that you can find in the snack section of the supermarket. And I played hours of Fortnite as well. And these things, even though they give temporary joy, they fuck up our lives in the long run. And you know that, and I know that too. Everyone around us is suffering. But when you live this path of your higher self, you'll be internally grounded, intrinsically motivated. And that means that you're not doing something just for someone else, for your parents, school, culture, society, and having them set the agendas of your life. One of the main reasons why people live this mundane life is because they live up to other people's expectations. And the reason for that is because they don't have a self-agenda. So what we're going to do is help you create a powerful self-agenda. And this self-agenda will be greater than what you can imagine right now. And it needs to be aligned with your internal self. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be constructing a life of higher conscious being. And higher conscious meaning that we're going to be living from our humanistic values, these noble values that we have as humans, rather than living these temporary and shallow values and trying to find shallow meaning with drugs, money, sex, fame. And yes, on one hand, you can find deep meaning with these things, but then these eventually you'll find are temporary and doesn't really fulfill you in the long run. And these are low consciousness meaning. One of the big problems is that most people work from outside in. They look externally of what's there and then use their brain to consider opportunities. And yes, there's no problem with doing that. I mean, we're all logical creatures. We're programmed to do this from our education. But what we need to instead do is work more from our inside out. And this means listening to our body as well, rather than focusing so much on the mind. Because you see, the mind is a very deceptive organism. It can trick you into believing about these fears, which actually does not even appear. And ultimately what happens is, when you believe in all of these fears, you eventually create them and summon them in your life. And if you look back to all of the greatest people in history, from any field you can imagine. Science, Albert Einstein. If you're into football, Ronaldo. Or more recently, you could think about influencers like Mr. Beast, doing philanthropy work, Ryan Holiday, writing books. Why they're successful is that they don't focus on all of these petty bullshit in their lives. They focus on how they can actually provide their gifts to society and improve it. The benefits of this path is that you'll get fulfillment. You'll feel passionate. Most importantly, You'll develop this peace of mind because you will know what you're doing in life. You will feel secure. You will feel grounded. Are you tired of just flowing with what everyone else is doing only to realize that the thing that everyone else is doing is not fitted for you? And you're grounded, not because you're closed, but because you know that this is the most meaningful and authentic thing in life. So then you make the right decisions. You make decisions that actually brings you long-term fulfillment. This is a new era of awakening. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of my friends, or the teenagers all around you, are not prepared for this. In fact, many of them will probably disregard us, probably see us as weirdos. But all I can say is that the world is changing. We're constantly evolving our consciousness. If you study history, you can see how we evolved from tribes to industrial revolution to our present moment where AI is blowing up. And slowly what's happening is that you'll start to realize that many jobs are pretty accessible. We have so many resources in the world. AI can do so many things. So what's most important is for humans to know exactly what they are fulfilled with. So then you can use the resources which AI can supply now to build something greater, to do something that actually matches you. Because what happens is if you do something that is shallow to you, if you do something that is not fulfilling, someone else who's doing something that's more passionate will eventually replace you, or AI itself will replace you. So this is a very important change. This is a very important transformation that the world is going under right now. I hope you can see how beautiful life would be if you commit to this path. And by no means am I going to say that your life will all be great, right? For me personally, I have problems. I get sad, happy, joyful, anxious, all the time. But overall, I'm pretty grateful and I feel a lot of joy. And then it's like I look around and see everyone around me and they're living the complete opposite lives, wasting their time, feeling depressed. And I'm like, you only have one life. So why are you wasting time doing shallow stuff in this one life? Like really, what's more important than living life, right? Living life to the fullest potential because you only get one. I hope you feel inspired by what is possible with this path of living your higher self. Because in the next video, I'll be walking you through a full visualization session where we can really get you fired up and really drill this mindset of living from your higher self and living a fulfilled life inside of you. I'll see you very soon.